Alright, today we're learning about the Pythagorean Theorem on page 546. The first thing you need to know is some terms. What is the hypotenuse, legs, and Pythagorean Theorem formula? The hypotenuse is the side opposite the right angle. So in order for the Pythagorean Theorem to be true, it has to involve a right triangle. And that will be indicated by the box that you see to indicate the right angle. So the side opposite, I'm always going to label C, okay? That's the variable that it stands for in the formula. And C is always the hypotenuse. Okay? Now, the two sides that form the right angles are called the legs, okay? And for consistency reasons, I'm going to term the vertical leg A and the horizontal leg B. All right? And these two legs together, added together, will equal C. So A, that's where you get the formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Because when you square each one of the sides, the two legs added together will equal the hypotenuse. All right, so go ahead and just write down these terms and definitions and copy the triangle as well. All right, so example 1. Please stop tapping your pencils. All right, in example 1, we're finding the length of the hypotenuse. It gives us the problem. It says a TV screen is rectangular and is measured by the length of a diagonal. The screen is 15 inches by 20 inches. Now remember, this is A, this is B, and this is C. It says the screen is 15 by 20, so I know that that's length times width. And then it says, what is the length of the diagonal? So by the wording in the word problem, I know that I can plug in 15 inches here and 20 inches here. And I don't know C, the length of the diagonal. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. And now I'm going to plug in the numbers where they go. 15 squared plus 20 squared equals C squared. Now I need to evaluate my exponents. 15 squared is 225. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Plus 400 equals C squared. 225 plus 400 is 625 equals C squared. And now this should look familiar. How do you solve for C?
Square root of 625.
Very good. Take the square root. And C equals 25 inches. All right, make sure you label. In example 2, now we're approximating the length of a hypotenuse. So the only difference here is going to be the fact that my answer is not going to come out to a whole number like it did in example 1. Well, I learned in 11.2 that I can approximate my answer by rounding to the nearest tenth or hundredth. All right, most of the time I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. So again, just for consistency reasons, let's go ahead and remember that my leg lengths connect the right angle, A and B, and C is the length of my hypotenuse, and it's the side that is opposite the right angle. All right, my formula is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. For your homework tonight, this needs to be your original problem on every single one. You need to have the formula written down. All right, so now if you're given side lengths of 8 millimeters and 8 millimeters, and you don't know C, okay? let's go ahead and plug this back into our formula. So I have 8 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 64 plus 64 equals c squared. Now I have 128 128 equals c squared. Now how do I solve? Take the square root. All right, and c equals, now round it to the nearest tenth. So square root of 128, it is approximately 11.3, and I almost forgot to. Make sure when you are approximating your answer that you give me the squiggly equal sign, okay? Don't say it equals 11.3 because that's not true. It's a huge decimal, okay? It's a non-terminating decimal, so make sure you say that it's approximately 11.3. All right, now in example 3, so in examples 1 and 2, we found the length of the hypotenuse. But what if you don't know the length of the leg? All right, so go ahead and draw this figure just like I drew it. Now, I know that it's not exact, but we will assume that that is a right angle. So I know that my side lengths are going to be C. That's going to look like a 9. A and B, okay? So no matter which way the triangle is turned, the side opposite the right angle will always be my hypotenuse, okay? Now it tells me that my side lengths are 13 yards and 9 yards.
Wait.
Yes, I know. I know. So now you're being asked to find the length of one of the legs. You're given the hypotenuse, and now you're asked to find the length of the legs. You solve it the exact same way, except now you're substituting your values into different parts of the Pythagorean theorem. So you still have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. But now a is what you don't know. So a squared now is your unknown, plus 9 squared equals 13 squared, because 13 is my value for C. This is the important part. Don't just automatically plug them in for A and B and think you're solving for C. Sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're solving for a leg. And this is how you would do it. So now we evaluate. All right, 9 squared is 81. 13 squared is 169. A squared plus 81 equals 169. How do I solve for A? How do I solve for A, Brianna? Subtract 81 from both sides. And now I have A squared equals 88. I solve this by taking the square root of both. And in this case, I have to approximate my answer. A is approximately square root of 88. What? 9.4, because I'm approximating to the nearest tenth. And 9.38 rounds up to 9.4. Don't forget your squigglies because it's not exact. Okay? A is approximately 9.4. So that's how you would solve if you had an unknown leg length. Okay? And on your homework tonight, sometimes you're solving for hypotenuse, sometimes you're solving for the leg length. That's how you do both. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 11.3.